Awesome. Let's jump in to the video today on Wednesday, the 9th of March. So let me share my screen and let's take a look at overall markets briefly, and then we will jump into our account and some trading here. So let's take a look at the overall markets, which are definitely up today pretty good. And I'm going to look at ES. And hopefully you can see these okay. So I know it's a busy chart as we go through this, but let's take a quick look at ES. We'll look at a little bit shorter time frame. I like to start with this this particular screen, and then we'll move on to a few other things. So taking a look at the S&P 500 futures. Purple line here is our downtrend line, which continues to be in place. So nothing's changed on the bearish piece or the overall downtrend. We remain in a downtrend. What I have here is just some fib levels from this high down to here. And then I'm also looking at just some fib levels from the previous lows back here way out in March of 2020. From that low to the high, I had to go out to the weekly on that. So let's dive back in here. So you'll see that level here. The 23.6 fib level is right here at 41.86, which funny that we closed directly on it back here on Monday. Then yesterday we went up, ran down, but we and finished below it. But today moving back above that line, so it still continues to be in play here. I think this 41.86 line, and then our previous low back from February 24th is still sitting here at 41.01. It remains intact. However, we still have this, lower high, lower low, lower high, another lower low technically. So we're still stair stepping down and getting interesting in here. We broke through this little consolidation area. I'm going to mute folks here, so hang on, let me find out who needs to be muted. Okay, sorry. All right, everybody's now muted. So we broke through this little consolidation piece on Monday, and now maybe we're starting another piece. We'll see in here. What's all this mean? Your guess is as good as mine. We're still in the downtrend. There's nothing here saying that that's been broken at all yet. There's nothing saying that we've had a bottom. It's continuing to have a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, lower high, and then we'll see what happens here. When we look at the stochastic momentum, though, this is what I like to look at. When these things break from below the 40 or from down from above the 40, they're pretty good signals to do some long trades. And you can see that most of these last about 1 week intact. So when we're down here and we break above, about a week later, we're at the highs. We start to tip over, then we break down here. Now this one was several weeks long, moving down here. Then we broke above back here, ran back up, took about a week. And then we broke down, and now we're, from that break point, we're 3 sessions in on this down move. If this thing drops below here and starts to up curve again, that's just the ebb and flow of the market as we continue to dive down. But this gives us a good weekly swing trading or idea of where things are, just on a daily basis. And then the CCI, I like to look when things are like way sold, like below the -200 line. Like it was back here. As those things start to move up, it's a pretty good indicator, when it breaks through the -100. As those break, that's a pretty good opportunity to get long on some things for a while. We didn't get extremely oversold on either one of these 2 last moves. So on the CCI, take a quick look at this ES on the super trend here. It is red. It triggered red on Monday. It remains red, has not changed there at all. And then you can see on the TTM squeeze, started to, started to reverse here. And then MACD was also getting positive in here. So things looked good. Then we got Monday, and Monday really knocked us back down into another, bearish momentum piece. It's reversing today, but it's only one day. So let's see what happens if we can break back positive on the MACD. So this is not an all clear at all on ES. If we take a quick look at where things are on the NASDAQ as well, pretty similar, pieces. This downtrend purple line is still intact. There's nothing, nothing here breaking that downtrend. And so until we get up into this area, you can see on, let's get rid of this little fib piece here. So you can see again, same lower, lower highs, lower lows, bounce here. PSAR has reversed negative as of yesterday. So we now have a bearish PSAR signal on NASDAQ. So this bounce, every bounce has been sold into, every move up has been sold into. There's nothing to say that this isn't going to get sold into and then tail back off here. We'll see. So when we get to some inflection points here, well, we'll see what happens. What we did do at least is establish that maybe this 1300 level is important for now, and we'll keep an eye on that to see where things may potentially move on NASDAQ. So there's a quick look at the markets, ES and NASDAQ. Will these previous intraday lows hold? Is this bounce going to be faded as it goes? We'll see. Interesting moves though in commodities. So this is really where we're seeing, I'm just going to go to 3-month. This is where we see some interesting moves. And I think this is the reason for today being up 90 points on the market. And I don't know that it's an all clear, but it's a nice move today. And it's certainly helping our account tremendously. But we hit a high up here at 130 intraday on crude oil. Yesterday, it's kind of an inside up and down day. Today, definitely selling off. You've got the PSAR bullish in play. However, if you look at the stochastic momentum, it is, overbought. If it breaks through here, we could see some selling. I don't know that it's going to be any different than this previous time back here in January where it broke down, but really just kind of went back up and stayed pretty flat and relative for almost a full month. I don't see any reason for crude to drop with everything that's going on in Ukraine and everywhere else in the world, and shutting off imports from Russia, which I don't really think is a very big deal at all for the US. Europe, much bigger problems. Germany, that's where they get all of their oil, so, or the majority of it. So it's a little different for some of the EU places, but for the US, it really doesn't have a whole lot to do. But mentally, there's some relief here in oil prices, commodity prices as they go down. Taking a look at bonds here on the 30-year, been in this downtrend. It broke it, back in here. So we broke this downtrend, starting to create some upward momentum on the 30-year. Let's take a quick look a little bit out here. Still remains in an overall slow downtrend here, but we're getting close to that point. If we look at the 10-year, it's just continued to fall into this range. And now we're starting to see, a little bit of a bounce and then big selling the last 3 sessions as this thing really starts to tip over. And again, we're crossing down from some of these overdone levels on it, and you can see the momentum coming out of the bond. So if we take a look at TLT as well, same type of thing. This sharp downtrend was broken. We're up. We're just consolidating around in here now on TLT. It's a good low area here. Do I expect, I don't think there's any safety or reason to buy bonds in here, but you can see it how that's flowing. And then on the 10-year Treasury rates here, obviously, as we come off of the lows a bit, then we're going to come off the highs on the interest rates. So rates down a tad, jumping back up today. Not a big bond guy to begin with. Let's take a quick look at some S&P sectors really quickly, and then we'll get to the stuff that you guys really want to jump into, which is some of the trades. So here's, as we get into, here's XLK, been in a downtrend. We broke support in here. Is there going to be some support right in this spot here? Previous high pivot levels, maybe. So now maybe this might be a good area to watch where things go in here. So this level may be holding a bit. We'll watch that in the XLK. As we look at the XOB, healthcare, same thing, downtrend, hasn't really been broken, a couple of days above, and then staying here. Nothing makes me want to get in out of healthcare. On that, the XLY, which is discretionary, is continuing to fall as you would expect. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So discretionary fund or ETF continuing to fall in here. Is this a double bottom? Is it a little bit of an H pattern, which has tendency to move up? Very possibly. We'll keep an eye on consumer discretionary, but I don't really know where that's going. With gas prices, climbing, it might impact this a tad, or more. We'll see what happens. Communication, well, they'll all look almost the same. Been in a downtrend. Financials, which everybody likes to watch. Financials has been in this range all the way back to last, July of last year. So financials has been in a really tight range from 37 to about 41, 42 in that range. It just recently broke below a bit, but you've got a little bit of a squeeze, this squeeze fired low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in. 8 is usually a good spot for reversal. So I think we're in, we got a little bit of a reversal today. We'll see what happens. We're going to watch financials because I think financials long-term this year are good. I think there's some good opportunities in financials overall. So I think the fact that they're beaten down, I think that rates are going up. I think we're going to see 5 hikes this year, most likely, unless the Fed needs to peel back a tad due to other external factors. But I think we're still looking at probably 5 rate hikes this year, 25 basis points each. I think that's only going to help financials. So I think financials are an opportunity coming up at these lows in here. And then lastly, energy, as you would expect, continues to crank higher, peaking with those oil futures as they peaked. But I think this is getting long in the tooth here. Can it stay elevated? It certainly can, but I think this is getting a little old. It's going to take a little bit of a break. Let's see if it comes down, maybe at least to the 21 EMA or so, and we'll play it by the ear there. All right, so gold real quick too. I skipped over gold, didn't I? Okay, some craziness on gold. I mean, look at that thing just moving like crazy up. So gold, take a look at the fibs on gold. It's probably a little bit higher than that one. Really see it on this monitor. So yeah, here's gold. It's made that serious run up, a pretty good sell off today in gold for the most part. If you look at this move from down here, there's some quick fibs for you on gold. We've already broken the 23.6. The 38.2 will be one I'll be interested in, but really this 50 retracement, which is the 21 EMA, this is a really good looking spot in here. So let's see if gold, marks down to this level. Can we get all the way back down here to the 200? Yeah, it's possible, but squeeze continues to fire. Momentum switching maybe a bit today. If we look at the stochastic momentum,
yeah, bulls hitting new highs now.
I'm gonna mute somebody new here.
2427 shows up about 44.
The guess who on here, I'm muting you as well. All All right, so we're rolling up. I'm looking at this 50 near term on gold. Let's see if we pull back there, which is the 21 EMA, and then maybe bounce and move higher. And we'll take a look at our gold play as well as we move. So there's gold. I think we get a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a relaxation here. I think we're due for a little bit of a rally this week, maybe next week. We'll see. I think the rest of this week we'll bounce a bit, and then maybe a little bit of a relief rally before we move down. My last points on all of this is we remain in a downtrend. It is not broken. Just because today's up 94 points doesn't mean it's an all clear at all. Downtrend's there. Stochastic momentum is not at lows. I think we can still go lower. I think we still may go lower. And I believe with the inflation being ridiculously out of control, and with all these other external factors, the Fed jumping in here, I really think that we're heading towards a recession potentially next year. I don't know if it'll hit this fall or fourth quarter this year, but I do see somewhat of a recession on the way. I'm not doom and glooming the market's down to 3,500 or something. I just think we'll watch this downtrend. I don't know if we're going to hit this high anytime soon if we just meander around here. But for us, elevated VIX still up at 32 is good for us. Good volatility. Crazy for the markets. Need a little bit of stomach churning medicine for you, but elevated VIX, good premium as we take a look at that. And as you take a quick look at, let's just look at SPY real quick. If we take a look at SPY and we go out a ways on SPY here, taking a look, 30 days out, you've got a 32%, and then going out even farther, like 60 days, still 32, 31, 27. So volatility is actually a little bit lower the farther out you go. So a little bit of this backwardation, meaning the volatility is primarily right now in the next 30 days, more so than it is at 60 to 90 days out here, or it's pretty equal to that. You're looking at the next 2 days. So this is pretty heavy volatility up early on. So it's just short-term trades, short-term premiums been something that you can take a look at. I'm still sticking to most of the same strategies that we have on, and we'll jump into some of our trades now, and then we'll look at some stocks. So let me switch gears, and I'm going to switch to Tastyworks account, and let's take a look at some of the accounts as we run through here. So ES in here, here's what we have on in our portfolio. As we start to slow down, this is the last, or one of the last, of the Black Swan hedge longs that I have. It's got 9 days to live. It's about dead. So I'm done with the Black Swan hedge. It really to me isn't worth the effort. It took forever for some of these short puts to come off before I could put the 5 longs on. So it's 3 shorts. They've been taking forever with all of this volatility down move. It's just not worth it. So I don't have enough longs on to really make it worth the fact that there's a Black Swan hedge on. It's taken up buying power that we have by putting those longs on, or those shorts on, to get this started. And I don't think we're going to 25.50. I don't even think we're getting close to it, and it has to go there fairly quickly. So I just see no value in these. It's a free trade, and essentially once you get them working, but to me it just costs me too much time and effort and confusion to leave these on. So that's the end of that. You can see most of what we have going in ES are these cover everything here except for those 5. Most everything that we have here are the 112 trades that we have on. You can get a sense here of here's exactly what we look at for this particular futures expiration on the futures contracts. We're right in the middle. That's looking pretty good. We're up a nice, $2,800 or so on just these 2 trades alone. So this is really just 2 trades in the current future cycle. And we've got room all the way down here. If we happen to break, if we get a little bit of a rally, then fine, we'll keep an eye on it, but nothing earth shattering. We got 2 days to go on this one. So that's what I wanted to take a look at. Let's take a look at this trade, which has 2 days to go. So we've got 2 days to go on this one. Max profit is 1950. We're at 1698 on it right now in here. So we're sitting about $1,700 out of 1900. Do I want the extra $200? Well, I mean, what's the odds of us, cranking up here? That's another, what, 120, to get to 42. What is this anyway? 4,400. For us to get to 4,400 from here, it's 140 points in 2 days. I mean, we're up 92 today, so anything's possible, but now I'm going to let this thing run and we'll take it off on Friday. So this one's doing well. Another one that's going to be doggone close to max profit. Maybe start to get up in here. I'll keep an eye on it. I'm just not sold on the market. So there's ES. And then the other expiration on ES has a lot more pieces in it. If we look at it overall on this other expiration, there's a lot of other things involved in this particular trade. So you can see this thing really starts to ramp up down in here. So we're sitting nicely in here with about a 16K max profit from here. All these trades together are up about $2,000 on the account so far. And this includes all kinds of individual trades. So as we look into these, we've got 8 trades on. We've got we've got the 3,300 here is part of a 112. So 3,300, 4080, 4010. So you've got this one in there as well. So this is up. You can or just down a fraction or pretty flat. That's the more recent, one of the more recent trades that we have on. So that's got time to cook, 36 days to go on that one. You can see a bunch of these other 112s in here, as well as the 60 DTE dailies. 3330 is one of them. So let's take a look. Where's the 3330? Here's one of them. So the 3330 is the most recent one we put on. It's up a couple bucks. The next most recent one we put on was at 3,400. This thing's down 100 and some bucks. Then we've got a 3380 in here. This thing's down a whole $70. These are all the more recent ones. And then the 3410. You can see this one's up almost 30% right now on the 3410. The 3540 is another one. This one's up, 40 bucks or so. We have plenty of time on these to come off. So that's a 3540. We've got a 3380. This one's up $34 or 34% at $343. That one's up. And then 3780. Where's that one? 3780 up here. So this one's up just a little over a percentage, the 3780. And then the oldest one we have is this 3710, sitting here at $250 up. So tomorrow, when we take off one of these trades, we're going to take off the most profitable. So even though this is the oldest one at 24%, I think this one, the 3380, this one is the most profitable. So this will be the one we'll be looking to take off tomorrow. So when we take one off tomorrow, this will be the one that we'll be taking off tomorrow. If we had taken it off today, we're looking at least a $343 winner. We'll see what happens by tomorrow. And then we'll put another one on. So we continue to put on 2 a week, every Monday, every Thursday. We're adding one to it. And then the rest of these trades are all the 2-2-1 trades. And you can see as a whole, the whole group is up. It's sitting nicely where we want to be. Here's our gold trades. We have a gold 111 trade on. Let's take a quick look at our gold 111. And you can see where we are. So did a 111 on gold, liking the positions or the location that we have on gold here. 1810, when we looked at that chart on the Thinkorswim platform on gold, 1810 was well down there, close to the 200-day moving average. So this is around the 200-day moving average down here. So we have a pretty long way to fall. We're up a couple $100 on this trade already, which is doing just fine for us. So we're up $300, 50% on this 111 trade, and we are not, inside the trap at all yet. But any big sell-off on gold puts us in the trap, which would be awesome for us. So there's gold. RTY. So on the Russell, we do have a 111 on the Russell. Here's what we are looking at on that trade. 111 on the Russell, sitting up here nice and safe in the tail, a couple $100 profit on this particular one. If the Russell sells off, we've got a great zone down here, all the way down to 1550 on the Russell, which is quite a ways down. I really like the Russell. I think it's a good, I'm not saying I like it that I would buy the Russell, but I like these 111 trades or 112 trades in the Russell. You get some pretty good movement, and the low is 1900. Okay, so this is the low that we set back in early, mid-February. This is the low. Okay, this is unheard of territory. Does it mean it can't get there? No, it can go there if, there's a catastrophe, nuclear weapons break out in Ukraine, something like that, black swan event. But we've got a really good opportunity here. So we're just going to sit here. We're sitting up in the tail, and no sense taking this off until we get a little closer to expiration. We've got 9 days to go, and no sense moving down, doing anything with that one. Wheat, everyone's favorite trade lately on wheat. So I know some people making some money on the wheat trade, but as you look at our wheat trade, we did another 112. I actually doubled the contracts on it. So we're sitting up here, another $400 winner on wheat, or at 343. So we're almost at max profit. Wheat just shot so far up here. I mean, it would have to absolutely crash for us to get anything paid off. Really, the whole point of this trade was, hey, let's get something on in wheat, a 111 trade, and then it just went limit up day after day after day. Now we're starting to get a little bit of relaxation, but hey, $400, we'll take it on that trade, and took us about 2,700 in capital to make $400, and that's in good shape. And here we're 9 days to go. This was a 16-day trade. Okay, 16-day trade to make, it'll be close to 100. It'll be 100% at the finish. But right now on margin, it's a pretty good return on margin. So we're at $330 up on a $2,700 margin product in 9 days. Okay, so it's well over a 10% return on our investment there in just 9 days. So we'll take that. All right, AMD, we're sitting on AMD here in a strangle. So this strangle right now is up 34% on AMD. Here's what we look like on the AMD strangle. In here, sitting close to the middle, maybe just a little off the top on AMD. I like AMD and the underlying here. So again, strangles, I think this is a great time to be looking at strangles. We're at 35%, so another couple up days. If we get to 50%, we'll take this off. So 50% winner or a 200% or 2x loser, and we'll take AMD off. Boeing, this was one gave us a little bit of a roller coaster this week. So Boeing, here's what we look at. on this strangle. We got down close to the 2x. Loss on this thing, and now we're down just 37% overall on Boeing sitting in here. I like the way Boeing looks. We'll pull it up on the other chart if we have some time on Boeing, but it's in a definite downtrend. It's nowhere near stopping the downtrend. However, I think we get a nice little rally off lows. I talked about that CCI index. That CCI hit the -200, which is extremely oversold and is moving right now up to the -100. This is a bullish opportunity in Boeing. I think this will serve us well on this trade. So Ethereum, we're down. It is what it is. Haven't added to it in a while. I think this is a good opportunity to start to add to some of that. You're seeing some pretty good moves on Bitcoin. All right, Facebook. So in Facebook, we are down a bit, a couple $100 on Facebook here, the 170, 165. I mean, not too worried about Facebook. Here's what we're looking at on Facebook. We're nowhere near bailing out. We're sitting right up here, which is nice. So we'll continue to watch Facebook. 2x loss or a 50% profit on these put spreads for me, defined risk trade on it. And I've got 10 contracts, 5 wide to potentially make myself $460 on it. So actually 230 because I'll get out at a 50%. So we'll see. We'll keep holding on to Facebook. NVIDIA, kind of mad that I had close out one yesterday, but it hit my pain threshold and I didn't want to risk holding it on, but we still have another NVIDIA 112 on, and this one's looking pretty nice right now. So NVIDIA is looking well in here. We've got all the way down here to about a 160 strike, and we're sitting at 299. So it's a pretty far off one. The other one, I think we held too long. We had a nice profit in it, but this one we're up $95, 27% so far in NVIDIA. It's all good. Palantir, here's another strangle that we have on in Palantir. It's sitting perfect for us. In fact, we're over the 50% threshold in Palantir. So we're sitting like dead center. Everything says, hey, you got your 50%, get the heck out of it and take your 70% winner. How much more can you get? I mean, can I get more than another 7 cents off of this thing? Probably, it's got 16 days to go. Do I want to wait 16 days to get 7 cents more? Probably not. So we'll probably look to take Palantir off. In fact, let's just take it off today. Okay, we'll go 8 cents. It's fine. All right, so we'll put in an order to close Palantir at 8 cents. If we get it, great. If we don't, it's all good. We're sitting at a nice 65% return. If that happens, and it took 13 days out of 6, it's been open for 13 days. There's 16 days to go. So not bad. We'll take 70, 65, 70% in 13 days. On Palantir, all right, QQQ, we're sitting on a butterfly in here. This had a lot more gains yesterday than it does today. On this, we were sitting right in the middle of this thing yesterday, but we really weren't realizing a ton on it. But we are up $170 on this curve. It's giving us negative delta, so I'm all good with that here. So we've got some nice negative delta for our account, and it's all good. So there's nothing to do here. If you got a 37% winner, if you want to take it off, fine. I've got 9 more days. Do I think that in 9 days we could see some more selling and not just an all-out rally? Yeah. If we see an all-out rally, everything else we have is going to go up, and I'm going to lose this trade, and I'll lose, what a whopping, couple $100 on this trade, whopping $500 or so on it. I want the negative delta. It's good for negative delta for me. SPX, same type of thing. We're sitting on this trade in SPX. It was in here. We're sitting right in the middle, looking perfect. Now we're moving outside of it, but we're still up on SPX. It's up $755. on SPX. We're up almost $800 on this trade. It's here to give me negative delta. We're still up 760, but yesterday we were up $1,500 on this trade. Didn't take it off, only because really had no idea what direction we're going. I don't mind the negative delta that it's giving me, so I like both of these for negative delta. Do I want to throw $1,800 into the ocean? Not particularly, but we'll keep an eye on this. It's got 2 more days to go. So we'll see if we continue to move up. I'll probably take it off with only 2 days to go. I don't have a lot of time for this thing to sell off. Let's see how today's market goes. We're still up $95 on SPX. And then SPY is where we have our our 2 different risk twist spreads in here. So if we take a look at how SPY looks, this is the complete picture on the risk twist spreads combined. So I have 2 of these on. If we sell off and we really, right now on these risk twist spreads, I'm down about $900 or so overall on them. One of these, one of these is down really the full $900. The other one is actually up a few bucks. But combined, here's where we are on these. Why? Because you've got this little valley and we're sitting dead in the middle of the valley of death. However, you got 72 days to go. So in 72 days, what could happen if the market just continues to sell down, 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 down? We're really starting to make some money. We'll kick it off when we hit the 385 level. Now we're at 426. That's 40 points down from here. Can we drop 400 points on SPX? Yeah, we definitely can in there. If we drop more, then this thing's really going to pay on. So here's the black swan hedge, folks. If we drop down in here, which is where those puts were. Okay, now I'm looking at making $40,000 to $50,000 on this trade. This is my black swan hedge, folks. I put it on. It doesn't chew up the buying power. I don't have the issues with having to wait for the 3 short calls to come off. I just find that I just don't like that trade at all anymore. I liked it because it was a free hedge, but this just gives me true hedging on that if we drop more. So I'm fine with the SPY risk twist spreads. Nothing else going on in SPY. Take a look at T row quickly here. Just a vertical that we have on. So it's a vertical put credit spread. Move this out of the way. So we're down on this one. Still, we're down 60%, a couple $100 on this, but we're sitting above the piece here. And if we looked at it on if we looked at this on on TOS on a chart, we're starting to see some potential bottoming looking action on it. MACD is positive today. TTM squeeze reversing. Now it still has it's still red as far as the super trend goes. So still a sell. We'll see. Were we a little bit too early on this trade? Maybe, but is T row price going to sell off $10? Maybe. Yeah, is it going to sell off $20 to here? Get to about 120 or so. I don't know. Does it have a 15% sell-off in T row price? One of the largest mutual funds out there. I don't know that it does. So I'm going to keep this one on. One of the few positions we have that's down. That's not a hedge. XLC is another one though that is also down. It's another put spread in XLC. So we're looking at this one. We'll keep an eye. We're above. We're only down 40 some, 48%, $192 on this one. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So we'll cut our loss at a 2x loss. Other than that, we'll let that run. And then XLE, we've got a couple trades going in XLE. So let's take a look at what we got. This actually shows it perfectly. Of course, we are sitting right in the middle of this valley, but you can see that, look at the curve, the T+0 line curve, this orange curve. So we're sitting in the middle of this little valley between the two positions. So what we have on here is a butterfly right now, and then we have a broken wing butterfly that's a little nearer turn that we just put on as well. So we've got two trades on in here. Let's take a quick look. So let's first look at the broken wing butterfly that we just put on in here. We're sitting right here. If energy, and of course, timing's everything. Energy is starting to sell off a bit. So we'll see what happens. If the worst thing's going to happen is we lose 225 bucks on this particular one as energy sells off. But if we continue to get some pricing on oil and pressure, we'll continue to see energy maybe move up into here. So again, timing, we may have just gotten in at the top, may not have been the best time to place that energy trade. And then on the other one, which is just a slightly broken wing butterfly, we're sitting in the profit zone on this one, but we're up a good $200 on this trade already. The max in the tail up here is only 140, so we're actually doing well. If this thing sells off a bit into here, with only a few days left in this particular trade, where we got which one? This particular trade. So in this trade, we're sitting at 9 days left in here. So let's watch it. If we continue to rally up in here, we'll be fine. If we sell off down into here, we're really going to be in good shape. So I like where we're sitting right now on this broken wing butterfly. So another good position overall. We are not up 1,206%. We are up 181 bucks, but the way they calculate it. So there's a quick overview of our positions that we have in here. I'm probably not looking to make a whole lot of trades right now on things. However, we're sitting at decent little buying power. We're up $4,000 or so today in the account. So we were up pretty good yesterday, another $4 grand today. This account is down right now for the year. It is down $1,900, which is about 1%. So we're down 1% on the year, and we have nothing that we have to peel off and trade to get out of. So no reasons to jump out of anything on our account. As we take a look here at that T-row price again, MACD may be making a move. Not sure who Mike is entering, but we'll let Mike in. So T-row still in that super trend red, but you can see the PSAR signal is sitting right on our top of our candle today. The PSAR signal, usually what that means is as soon as it touches anything, it reverses the next day. You can see maybe stochastic momentum might be starting to move up. You can see definitely the CCI is moving up on T-row price here as well. I think we get a PSAR reversal tomorrow. I think this moves higher. The only thing we need to get through right now is we need to break through the 21 EMA up here. But I think that bodes really well for our put spread that we have in there. So if there's some stocks you guys want to take a look at, we've got about, 10 minutes or so left. We could take a look at anything that you want. If not, I'll run through. We'll run through a few things here. Facebook's one just to take a quick look at. This thing's still trying to bottom in here. Maybe you're getting some final reversals on Facebook. Can it go down further? Yeah, but I think you're about ready to get a PSAR reversal tomorrow on Facebook. So I think tomorrow we get a PSAR reversal. We will get a super trend change around the 200, and 5 mark. So if we move up, another 7 points in Facebook, you're going to get a super trend green. look at this reversal down here in the TTM squeeze. You've been reversing since here, and we're moving up, 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 up. MACD still positive. RSI looking to move up. Stochastics kind of flat right now. But I think Facebook's interesting in here. Netflix, and the reason I like to keep it on this is I just want to get a sense of, we'll just keep 3 months charts, 6 months. So we'll just keep 6 months up here. And look at all of these stocks that are below the stochastic momentum. It has not broken above the 40, so it's not ready yet. Still baking. Netflix still baking in the oven. It's early. Can you get in early? Yeah, maybe you can. We don't have any kind of a signal to do anything with that yet. Amgen, sorry, Amazon, not Amgen. Amazon, same, looks exactly the same. They're all sitting down here, but they have not curved up like this curve here, or this breakthrough here, okay, or this breakthrough here. We got to wait till we see the break, and then we'll see if that, anything else corresponds. We'll take a look at the dailies. Obviously, this thing was broken, but you've got some potential support in here from this previous low. Did we break it? We did temporarily. Okay, so we broke it, but closed above it. So this line's still holding. So we still have some support right here, about 2,700, 2,707 on it. Is this a good spot to get in Amazon? I don't know. You tell me. The squeeze is still firing. It has not begun to reverse yet. Super trend is still red, and stochastic momentum and everything is still pointing down. There's no reason to get in, and PSAR not close to reversing. Okay, so Amazon is not ready to make any kind of a move back to try to break this trend line. So Amazon's struggling in there. Google, same thing. Google does have the PSAR reversal here. It did hold this bottom almost 3 times. That's pretty interesting, but the more times it touches, the more nervous I would be. So not seeing anything on Google makes me want to jump in. Amazon or Microsoft, it is making that reversal from the 200 down, hasn't broken up through the 100 yet, and hasn't turned here yet. PSAR is still showing a bearish reversal here. So I don't know that we're ready to rock and roll yet on Microsoft. As we look at these downtrend lines here, we're not breaking it. Taking a quick look here, no real reversal signs. So not yet on Microsoft. Apple, same thing. I don't see anything here on Apple, even though it does have the PSAR reversal down here. We'll see. And I have some fibs drawn on this down move in Apple. It's got to break this 318 to have any chance of doing anything. Here's your downtrend line. So we're not at the downtrend line. We still have the 21 EMA to go. We're still in a green or in a red MOBO band. So nothing here. I mean, today's just an up day in a downtrend. NVIDIA still in this pretty good downtrend from here. Looks like it could be starting to move higher. PSAR is not reversed yet. Just an up day in a downtrend. Nothing here looks fantastic at all. This is a longer term trend line that dates back quite a ways. Let's go back, way back over a year. Let's look at the weeklies. I mean, this trend line is dating back all the way here to March of what is that? March of last year. This trend line is still intact, on the weekly, but on the we're still in this downtrend weekly. We're getting some reversal on MACD, but not on the squeeze. So if you look at the weeklies on most of these, Apple. All right, take a look at the weekly downtrend, down, momentum coming out. That's just, weeklies just don't look good on anything. Microsoft, look at Microsoft here on it, momentum maybe reversing a bit off the lows. This hasn't stopped yet. Google, Look at this on the weekly. Again, negative on the MACD and getting stronger, heading lower. I mean, these are bad signs. If you're looking at anything on a weekly chart right now, if this was the daily, you wouldn't even think of entering these stocks. This is just triggering a squeeze on the downside. So again, if these are daily charts on any of the big boys in tech, you don't want anything to do with it right now. This might be getting long. So Netflix may be starting to make its turn. It's starting to reverse here, squeeze, getting pretty long on the weekly. PSAR has not moved back up. These on the weekly are pretty good little, pretty good little moves. If you can get them on the weekly as they break up through here, you get some pretty good moves. These are 50-point moves on these charts. You can see here, it told you get the heck out. So we've been out. We'll see what happens. We can play short term, but you can't play weekly on it. And then Tesla, take a quick look at that one on the weekly as well. Stomo on the weekly, though, breaking up. You're still negative on the CCI, but the stochastic momentum breaking up, that's a really good sign. When that happens here, you can get a 50 to 100-point move in Tesla, but you really haven't had any opportunity for being oversold till now. That's a really good sign potentially on that one. You can see that MACD has started to reverse on the weekly. The squeeze is getting longer, maybe not long enough yet, but Tesla on the weekly looks the best of any of those. And if we switch back to a daily on Tesla, things are starting to really to look pretty good on Tesla for a move. Your downtrend line here definitely being tested in here. So this downtrend line today, we're breaking the downtrend. We're running right into the 21 EMA. Looking at the daily, we're breaking up through the bottom here. This was a good sign. The PSAR reversal dot is sitting right at the top of our candle today. Tomorrow, I'm guessing that this will reverse. So I think Tesla looks good here for a potential opportunity to get some long, to get long on Tesla, because it actually is one of the few on the weekly that looks halfway decently reversing off of lows. Doesn't mean it can't go lower and keep going down, but I do like Tesla here. All right, Eddie, I missed your thoughts on call side 111 or 112s. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at one of those. But call side, anything's make me nervous. I really have a tough time selling call side on anything. I posted a VIX call side 111 the other day, but you've got to find something. I mean, everything is overdone, everything is selling off. So do you place a call side trade in the middle of a sell-off, or do you place a call side trade when something's at a high? I'm having a tough time, Eddie, finding anything that's high enough. Now, can everything go lower? Absolutely. Downtrends are in play. But I don't know that I want to play anything on the call side being down this far. You have a bigger chance of moving things to the upside and having a rip your face off rally when the war or something else ends. I think you have a bigger chance of a big rally than you do selling off and having a rip your face off selling. Outside of nuclear on the Russian piece, I don't see a catalyst for a complete meltdown. Can we continue to go down? Yeah, you got inflation, you got the Fed raising rates, you got all this conflict still going on overseas, you got high tension with NATO and Russia, you've got China, in the mix of things. So, you've got a lot of potential things that can really hurt the economy. So as oil prices rise, as inflation rises, man, I don't know what I would put a call side. So if you've got something you want me to look at from a call side, do that. But what's at a high that I would want to risk the call side on anything. Here, just a quick look. And so Eddie, I'll put one on in the last minute we have here. CRM, look, this one may be breaking the downtrend. If we look at the weekly on it as well, you're getting a reversal in MACD and your squeeze is long and starting to reverse. I think the long downtrend for CRM could potentially be changing. Look at the stochastic momentum that's also popping up on the downside. So I think CRM is another good opportunity. Here, the PSR reversed negative and doesn't look fantastic in here, but I think you could definitely sell puts or look to go long CRM in here. And then last one we'll take a look at is AMD, still in a downtrend. If you look at the weekly on AMD, no, this does not look fantastic. From a weekly, it's still heading lower. Nothing looks great. You're down to support here at 100. If this thing breaks 100, you could have some significant pain on this as we go out. So I don't love AMD. However, this downtrend line dating back to, I don't know, what is this, like October of 2019, bounced, and bounced again on the weekly. So there's an interesting piece on AMD that we're bouncing off of this really long-term, well-established trend line, but everything else looks pretty weak on it. Maybe some short-term reversal pieces. All right, Eddie, so one in gold. So yeah, so gold and oil would be potentials, I think, for a 111. So let me take a quick change of screen and let's look at what those would look like. Okay. All right, so let's jump into here on gold. Take a look at gold and what can we do on gold. The one thing I don't like as much is gold just sucks for expirations. But if we look at this, do I want to go 48 out on gold? Man, that's a long time to go out and put something on the call side. But you can still look to do something on the call side. Let's take let's start with like a 10 wide. I got to go more. I'm going completely the opposite direction. All right, let's take a look at 10. Let's go 15 wide. Where do we have to get to on strikes? I guess we do have to get up there pretty far. Now $3 and then maybe something up here. Am I doing this completely backwards? I can't even remember. I don't know why Tastyworks won't let you just look at your one trade. So here's a potential gold trade. A reverse 111 on gold. So this one's going to give you $320 sitting in here on a pretty small buying power. I don't know if that's because I have another trade on in gold. That may be wrong, but we'll take a look at that. So 310 credit. So here's a way on gold that if gold drops, we have no downside on gold. So gold can drop, no downside at all, make $320. Gold would have to crank its way all the way up into this area here. It's sitting at 200 now. So gold has to get up into the 2100 level, which it did top at here. And then for us to get into any serious trouble on gold, holy moly, we got to get all the way to 2500 on gold. So this is a good way to make, I think this is a good 111 on gold potentially. Not even a 112. I don't even need to do that potentially on gold because of what I have on. Yeah, so volume, TOS has more expirations, but this one's protecting. This one's got potential here. If you, look at selling the 2500 call and selling, then doing the 15 wide. Is it 15 wide, 2125, 2110, and then you can play with it. If you want to go a little wider, you can take, or a little narrower here. This is going to give me a little bit more credit. I'm going to go narrower. I'm going to go 10 wide. And now I make 430 in the tail. And I make, less up here, but I still make over $1,000 if gold runs from 2100 all the way to 2500. Is gold going to 2500? I don't think so. In fact, I like this trade so much, Eddie. I'm putting this on today. So I think it's a pretty cool trade. So yeah, I'll look to put this trade on. Maybe today. I may tweak it a bit, but there's a good opportunity for a 111. I think in gold. You could also take a look at something in oil as well along the same lines. I just want to be careful of the 150 mark in oil, but if my short put or short call is at the 150, I'd be pretty comfortable with that. All right, so we're just about the top of the hour. So we've been on here for an hour. I think that's a good amount of time, but I do like this trade in gold here. I think it's a pretty nice trade. I'm going to make a note of it. And in fact, I'm going to screen share this particular one. Let's take a look at this trade in gold. And I'm going to paste this into our Slack channel. All right, pasted it into Slack as well, so we'll know which one it was. Yeah, let's play one more. Let's do oil. Do we want to do something in oil? Let's go 36 days in oil, and let's figure something out. So what do we got from a width standpoint? That's actually not bad. All right, let's go here. And then, so this is going to cost us $1.46 in oil. And then we want to sell something up here. And we can get pretty close to that 150 mark. All right, let's see what happens as we move around. Buying power on these things is pretty heavy. So I don't know that this is super doable. In gold, I think we may need to move out a bit on this one. So gold may not be, or oil here might be a little tougher to put on. I mean, that's a big number on there, but buying power, yeah, you know what? Buying power, 11 grand. Okay. So it's good, but look at this thing. So buying power is 11 grand. And no matter how far oil falls, I'm going to make $1,000. So that's a 10% return in 36 days. And if oil shoots up, we don't lose anything. Oh, do I have something else on? No. It's a weird looking. Okay, I don't lose anything till over $150 a barrel. Are we going over 150? Could, but if we go in here at all, and you're looking at a $6,000 return on an $11,000 reversal here. So I think that's potentially something interesting to take a look at here in oil. Hefty BP, I mean, but see, Eddie, I'm just reading yours. I have one put on with 2,300 short before. It must be good. So gold. Going to roll the 2,300 out. Yeah, like oil, but the 1,000 lot is a little hefty. Yeah, so 1,000 lot on this sucker. You know, here, yeah, we got 1,000 lots on these things. Expensive, but hey, that's not a bad looking. That's really not a bad looking trade on oil there. I don't know that we can top $150 a barrel. I mean, yeah, you can go to 200, but I don't know that we top 150, and you really don't even lose until you get to about $157 a barrel on it. If you want to, I mean, this one looks even more interesting. If we narrow this up a tad and narrow this width a bit here, now we're still, when we're at a $1,600 win if oil doesn't go any higher than it does. So let's start to move strikes up. All right, so here's another way of looking at oil as well. So now we still have the chance. I like this one even better. So we still on oil have a chance on a $10,000 buying power. We have a chance to make $1,000 if oil goes nowhere, or if oil goes up only a fraction. If oil breaks the 130 level, that, which is where it topped at, and goes all the way up to $168 a barrel, we're going to make like $4,000 on this. We're going to make a 40% return in 36 days. So you really got to ask yourself, do you feel lucky? Is that something that you want to be able to put on oil? It's certainly very interesting. What can shoot oil up? Who knows? I mean, U.S. has already said we're not buying. I'm posting this in the Slack channel. So U.S. has already said we're not buying oil. So, and oil's selling off on that news. If we continue to look at other places, okay, so here's your micro oil. You can buy it, you just can't trade options on it, on oil. So depending on your account sizes, you just can't trade options on the micro golds or oils, but that's a pretty nice opportunity. So what's another way to trade oil besides the futures? So what's a good oil ETF? What's probably the best traded oil and gas ETF? There's a couple levered ones as well. What's a 2X? There's a 2X. What is it? There's Gush and Drip. I know that. So let's take Gush, which is the bullish oil This is probably super, it's not the worst traded. So what were we looking at previously? If we did something in Gush. Yeah, your buying power is still pretty hefty. I was trying to lower your buying power. But you could look at this as an ETF in Gush, and that's probably too much credit. These are super wide, though. I really don't like these necessarily. Still pretty hefty buying power. It's a hard to borrow. I don't know if there's any better oil ETF. USO. Can you do USO? Yeah, maybe. Let's just do the 36 on USO. Pick something like 83, 86. And then 100. Yeah, still huge buying power. They're still hard to borrow. So most of these are hard to play without chewing up. I mean, if I'm going to do buying power of 8,000, I'm going to do the one that we had on earlier, and then XOP. I don't know if this is any better. So 140, 150, pay for it. You can't really get any money until you get up into here. I mean, obviously your buying power is lower. Is this, well, I can make a whole $11. I can't get any closer than that. I mean, it just really doesn't make sense on oil. So I think oil is just one that you just don't play with on it unless you're doing the oil futures. But I think both of those are good trades if you have the buying power. They're hefty, but and you got to watch your loss. But I think it's a good opportunity. All right, I'm going to wrap up and we'll move on. See you guys in the Slack channel today. Hope this was worthwhile, enlightening. We'll get a copy of this and we'll post it in the channel. All right, guys and gals, have a fantastic rest of your afternoon. Take care, everybody.